is good too. We're just waiting on... Technically, we're waiting on Skylark, but what we're actually waiting on is me to spot the stream going. Pause, check. Okay, cool. Right. Before we begin, for anyone who is just joining, or anyone who is watching this recording in post, I would like to inform you that I'm putting out a trigger warning for this, I guess, episode, this session of D&D. It will contain some pretty bad descriptions of folks who have been murdered, so trigger warning for gore and body horror, because that will be present in this session. I will warn the audience as best as I can remember any time that's about to come up, and I will put a notification in the chat. I will put like safe or something so that you know I'm finished describing it in case you had it muted and need to unmute it once the description is passed. So again, trigger warning for gore. I will warn you when it's about to happen so that you can mute. I will let you know when it's over so that you can unmute. All right. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and go grab my players. Okay.
Hello.
All right. I'm gonna, before we start, I will give you guys the same warning I just gave the stream. Oh, I got a sub. Thank you. Hold on, I gotta go put a star on the wall. Ow, my leg.
Friend, welcome.
I felt immediately walking into something.
No, I pinned my foot between my chair and my desk. It's fine though.
No.
It's fine, I'm fine. I'm alive.
Are you though?
Glad.
Oh hey, Falcon.
What up? Oh my god. Multiple folks. Oh lord. Okay, I gotta go stick a... I'm running out of space on your paper. I'm gonna need to get you a new one. There's so many little stars on here.
I mean, there are 38 of them.
There's 38. It's a lot of stars.
It's because she's the star of the show. Hey.
I'm
Hey.
definitely not.
You
There's also
are.
gnats and or fruit flies or something in my room. Oh my god. Shanty's here too. Good
Oh, yes.
lord. Ugh. Where is your paper? There it is. I'm gonna need to get you a new one too. Lord almighty. Okay.
I found a place to buy my textbook for $15. We're good. We're good, lads.
Hey, there's a hype train. Holy
Nice.
shit. Nice. Okay.
I'm 15 months subscribed.
So
I'm happy.
I'm going to go ahead and issue you guys the same warning I just issued the stream. This episode will contain multiple descriptions of gore. If you are not comfortable with that, I will let you know when it is about to happen, and then when it is over, I will notify you in the chat so that you can unmute.
Okay.
Is that cool with everybody?
Sounds good to
Yep.
me.
Okay. Alrighty. With that, let's go ahead and get into it. It's been a little while since we played. It's been about a month, I think.
Thereabouts.
And as a recap for anybody who's just tuning in, I see you in the chat there.
Oh, can you check your DMs too, please?
Okay, give me just a second.
No worries.
I can't do it with my computer because then it would show the stream, so for privacy I have to go grab my phone and check this here.
Valid. You're so valid.
Yep.
What do we got here? Yes, it was.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So I'll warn you, don't worry.
Okay.
The players are currently in the Underdark. They are in the Underdark because they need to get a pattern from one of the gods of the Underdark in order to make a weapon to defeat their greatest enemy that the world has ever seen, and all that. But while she's spinning it, she figured they could probably lend a hand to a rather ill-tempered drow named Lucian, who was bothering the Webmother for help that she could not give, because his city, Hreeshie, in the domain of the Hunter, a different god of the Underdark, is currently being, perhaps besieged is a word for it, but is currently being terrorized by a serial killer that they have not been able to catch. And the Webmother has decided, you guys can probably help, right? it doesn't matter if you have criminal investigation experience. It's fine. So she sent you off to help. I believe we're picking up right after your meeting with the webmother, or as you are headed towards the... Okay, right after that? No, you talked to Lucien.
We talked to Lucien right after that, and then we're headed that way.
Okay, and I think he told you to meet him at the train station the next morning or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's about where we'll be picking up. You just had your meeting with the webmother. She has assigned you to this task. Let me turn my audio up. There we go. Would you like to do anything in the night before you head on to the train station for the next morning? Xander Official, thank you for the sub. Oh, Anand is back.
I guess I'll ask Lucy, should I bother preparing to speak with Dead, or is there just not enough pieces together for that to work?
Were you asking, who exactly were you asking about this?
The dude who asked us about to investigate things.
Lucien?
Yeah.
If you ask him, he says they've tried to use Speak with Dead on the corpses before, but they have not been intact enough for that to work.
Okay.
I would still prep it, unless you have something better, like more useful or something. Because we might find a body that's useful.
I mean, one hopes we don't keep finding bodies, but...
One would
I mean,
hope.
it's probably gonna happen.
If you remember correctly, past you came up with a great series of actions, but you don't remember them, so I'll let you go find that. Okay. Oh my goodness, Sander, thank you so much. Also, congrats on coming out. Good work. Proud of you. Read the case file. Following depends upon the results of one. Okay, so basically all of your planned stuff happens after you get to Hreeshie, which I will type in the chat. Is the name of the city that you're headed to.
Ah, something we can say this time.
Yeah, it's a
Very
little bit more
helpful,
pronounceable
thank you.
because it's by a creature that has a flesh mouth instead of a chitin mouth.
What? One more time, what was that other name?
Svechitskixlemasatrix.
I hate that so
Impressed.
much that
Sorry.
you can do that.
Man, I'm impressed.
Yeah?
There's that practice.
So much there.
Yeah, there
Flesh
really
mouth.
is. Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
This is glitchy. Never mind.
The city unseen. Alright, so if none of you have any sort of, any business you'd like to take care of in the city, then we can feel free to hop to the morning when you head to the train station. Ascrick will not accompany you because it is not his domain, and he is not in the service of a hunter. Instead, he will sort of pass you over to Lucien, like as an escort. As long as you're with somebody, apparently, it's fine. You head to the train station in the morning.
Not a bunch of unsupervised surface peoples.
Yeah, as long as somebody is watching you, it's fine.
Just put a bunch of child leashes on us.
Yeah,
It
invisible
would have to
ones,
be
like
a
magic
really
ones.
big child leash.
They just put-
Speeches.
They just put magic ones on your soul.
Whoa, don't
Well,
like
that's
that.
concerning.
That's upsetting.
That's
How
not
about you
canon.
cut
I don't
out
think-
right then. They
I
just cut out your soul.
Just real quick, can you don't?
No,
Misa did not consent.
they don't actually do that. Okay. For Hessa. Yeah, probably.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't need to be called out like this.
Yes, you do.
Yes,
I
you do.
haven't even done anything this game,
Yet.
okay?
We're
Okay, I
literally
love-
like
I
5
love
minutes
how
in.
the first thing that you say is, I haven't even done anything this game.
This game. Like this
This
session.
game.
I
This
mean,
today.
look,
less.
I've done some things in this campaign.
We know.
We're aware.
Oh, we
We
know.
were actually there for most of them, actually, surprisingly.
Yes, most of them.
Okay. So you head to the train station. Asgrick will see you off, just kind of like walk you there and then be like, alright, well, as long as everything goes okay, you'll be back in a few days, and I will meet you here when you do. Lucian is already on board. You do not see his bat anywhere. Probably on a different car. On one more suited to a giant bat. But he will note to you, like nod, and lead you on to one of the carriages of the train.
Oh, Mir just thanks Asgard for help and goes
Sure.
to say hi to Siri.
I don't know if he has contact with them right now. But he'll pass along a message if he can.
We can say hi to Aurelian.
Yes, he will kind of stumble over his own words and be like, yes, I'll do that.
Mir has a beak, so she can't really have a shit-eating grin as she says this, but
But it's close enough.
It's there in spirit.
He does the, the kind of like embarrassed, like I'm gonna mess with my hair behind my ear thing.
Aww.
Mm-hmm.
Cute.
So you head onto the train.
Yay.
Yes, very. You head onto the train, and after a little bit, and I think that probably you have to wait for other passengers to arrive and whatnot, but eventually the train will set off. It's a several days ride, so on this train ride you'll be able to ask Lucian some questions about what he knows about the case so far, but before that I want to describe kind of how this train goes. It's 2 full days straight south, underground, obviously. But the notable thing that you actually kind of figure out about this train, that you experience, is once you leave the Webmother's domain, which is probably most of a day in, there are no stops. Absolutely no stops until you cross into the Hunter's domain. Right before you get into the next domain, which is, I believe, Eventualities, the train fully hermetically seals itself. You hear sort of big ol' clunk-clunk noises as all of the windows kind of make sure they're absolutely perfectly shut. All of the doors completely seal down so that no air can get in or out. And it starts to cycle air through the carriages internally, but it will not accept any from outdoors. Which you realize why this has happened, because Eventuality is the creeping mold.
Ah.
And they do not want spores inside the train.
That's fair.
Boy, y'all thought Misa was uncomfortable on the last one.
See, it's more than fair.
There are multiple caverns you move through where instead of seeing like an empty, just a cave, the train's like its railway and its passageway is like crowded on by these just layers and sheets of orange mold. So it's right up against the windows.
Misa has taken one look outside those windows this entire time. She heard the clunk and she has just stuck her head into her own coils.
Rip. Yeah, you'll be in there for most of the next day and the one after, and after that, when you finally enter Hreeshie, or not Hreeshie, but the Hunter's domain, the train will make a stop. It does make a stop, and it is fully decontaminated and cleaned and washed from the outside. It remains sealed that whole time, and only after the decon procedure has completed does it unseal the doors. So during this journey, you have the option to talk to Lucian.
I was going to say that Mir also probably spends a lot of the train ride plopped next to me, so attempting to become comforting while also like, I can't see this guy.
Yep, unfortunately you are underground. You are cut off from the sky. You'd like to ask Lucian to show you on an overworld map where you are about 5 times a day? He will get very annoyed with you, but I guess he'll do it at least a few times. You are heading south. Oh, I should go get the map. You are headed south. You pass beneath the Kaival Reach and beneath Channelwood and the Viridian Sea. So you've actually been these places overland? Yes, no, you're going real far south. The map should be pinned, yeah. Let me go grab that. Here we are. Yes, you head south, yeah, underneath the foothills, and then underneath Channelwood and the Viridian Sea.
That is such a detailed map.
Yes, it is.
One day I will have a map like that for my world.
One day. It seems that your destination is... Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We made that.
I love you.
One of these days I'll finally get to, like, help him with the pillar. But, like...
Yeah, and Falc drew me a map.
I have the original downstairs. But it seems your destination is underneath the plains that are south of the sea. That is the Hunter's Domain. Would you like to talk to Lucian, ask him things, etc.? You are going a long way. Yes, very. You're moving through a total of 3 of the different Underdark domains. From the Web Mothers through the Molds and into the Hunters. Alright, what do you want to ask him?
What details can you tell us about the case, probably?
Does he have the case file? He doesn't have, like, the actual file, but he can tell you the general details. The deets. Okay. The first thing, obviously, is that, from the beginning, what happened? Okay. The first person who went missing was actually an out-of-towner. A traveler. Who disappeared, and then 5 days later, his body was found. They thought maybe it was like a xenophobia killing, like someone doesn't like out-of-towners, but the next person after that was local, as was the next, so they ruled that out pretty quick. The first one, it was like, wow, this is a really bad murder, and then after the next couple, they realized it was like a patterned serial killer.
You cut out slightly when... Did he give any sort of description of the second victim there, or...?
Any description of what?
The second victim.
No, they're just local. Are xenophobia killings common? No. Which is why they were confused that it might be, but it's not.
How many victims have there been total?
26.
Jesus.
And it's been 7 months?
It has been, yeah, 7 months.
So all of the rest of these murders have been locals?
Yep. No, one other victim has been a traveler.
Okay.
But that's it.
Do you find them in any certain place? Or do they tend to disappear from a certain area?
The distribution of the disappearances and the discovery sites appears to be completely random. They actually, they thought that maybe it was somebody stealing people off the streets, so they started increasing sort of these night patrols. But all that did was make the last 5 victims disappear from inside their houses.
Jesus.
Are these people well known to the community? I know you said some are out-of-towners, so I assume not everyone is, but have any of them been, like, high profile?
No, it's random. It seems to be completely random, except for one distinguishing trait that all of the victims share. And it is that every victim so far has been somebody who has been very physically fit. And most of them are people who are martially trained. Some of them are magical, but not most.
Oh dear.
when the bodies are found, usually... Okay, what condition are bodies found in? Alright. Here's my first warning, both for you guys and for the chat. This is nasty. Here's my... Yeah, so if you need to mute it now. Okay? Okay. The bodies are usually found, at the very least, dismembered. Every single one of them has been missing their jaw or part of their face that would make them able to communicate via speak with dead. It's uncertain if that's by chance or if that is normal. So far, they've been unable to tell what exactly has been tearing people to pieces, because it is the destruction is so total. Very few of the parts of the bodies they've found have actually been intact. They have been able to discover that whoever died was recently under extreme physical duress. They found, like, evidence of, like, dehydration and exhaustion in a few of the corpses. The ones that have been whole enough to sort of determine that. But most of them have just been completely disintegrated.
Woof.
It's just a heap of scraps.
How have you been identifying the bodies, particularly in that sort of condition?
They're just assuming they're the people who disappeared several days earlier. It's the best they can do. Like the kind of condition someone would be if they had been hunted to death, run down before being killed. Potentially, all they know is that several of these bodies have been just, like, again, dehydrated, exhausted, overexerted. There's indications of, like, non-stop, like, movement or running, so, like, they've got like, cuts and scrapes and scratches from scrambling or moving.
Was there, I mean, could you tell how they were taken apart? Like, with a surgical blade or claws, or...
It looks like an animal attack.
But significantly worse.
But really, really worse. They haven't been able to find a complete enough bite mark to match it to anything. Because any sort of bite mark that would have been in there has also been ripped apart.
I've already had a terrible idea.
Are there any large open spaces near Hreeshie? I think that's how you say it.
There are caverns.
Maybe we could look into the caverns. Have you had a search party down there?
Yes, every time someone has gone missing, they've searched the city and all of the surrounding areas. Starting in the area that they went missing in. But they've never found anyone. And if they are being stolen via magic, they have been unable to tell, as both of the sites of the disappearances, if they've found them, and the sites of the discoveries have always been magically cleansed.
Question.
Yes.
Is there a particular size of victim?
No.
Or has it gone over a particular size?
No. I mean,
Okay.
no sort of pattern there.
I'm wondering if they've taken anyone larger than, say, medium. Than average humanoid size.
I mean, some people are tall, some people are not.
Is anyone ever as big as Misa? Or,
Yeah.
No.
Like, as big as, like, a Drider or Misa.
No, they haven't taken any Driders in the city. They haven't taken any of the bats or the servants of the hunter.
Interesting.
anyone particularly small taken gnomes outings?
There was a really short lady who knew martial arts real good.
So they might not be comfortable with
pretty-
someone of a particular size class.
Potentially.
There are 26 of them, and not one of them has been one of the larger individuals that I'm
Well,
sure populates the city.
I will say mostly the city is inhabited by solely drow. So if you're going
Fair.
mechanical size class, everybody's medium, pretty much.
Gotcha, okay.
So I'm assuming the majority of the victims were drow as well.
Mhm.
Get wrecked.
There was one high elf. That was one of the travelers, but that's it.
Yeah, Zach's feeling comfortable. Misa's going, oh dear.
First of all, I think we should all have a buddy system going for this whole adventure.
Well, for sure.
Body
Just
system.
saying.
And
Hey.
here comes my
Whoa.
awful idea.
Oh boy.
Normally, Mir sticks close to Zakro because she's the healer and he's the squishiest.
That's true.
That's fair. Is your awful idea to be used as bait?
Yes.
No,
Or to, like,
no, we're
No,
not doing
no,
that. No, no, no,
sorry.
no.
try
Vetoed
to
immediately.
bait the killer into taking one of us?
Great idea. I'm vetoing that, though. Nobody.
I hate
Oh,
to say
boy.
it, but if any of us looks physically fit among us, it's probably the guy who walks around without a shirt all the time.
No!
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Punch boy!
the punch boy.
You know, the one who literally punches his enemies because of sheer muscle.
Cam?
Pardon my language, everyone, but I do believe I need to say frick.
Hey, Tim, why don't, just for, like, the couple of days we're here, why don't
Misa
you, like,
says no.
wear a shirt? Just to, like, maybe blend in, you know.
Sorry, but wearing shirts is in fact against my religion.
At least have
And you said frick,
one
You
that
don't know what religion is, Tem.
Wait,
yeah,
It's
true.
really
Religion
Don't.
is. It's called not wearing a shirt. Fuck you.
Goodness, like I
literally
said,
all
frick,
Tim
my
knows
brain
about
just
a
went,
religion.
You mean fuck, Temp? That's what you say when you are upset.
Temp
Rip.
is a lifelong devotee of the god of having one's titties out.
Zacro, very good idea.
Very good god to worship. Let's be real.
It's true. It's a look. What can I say?
It is a look. But, like, you probably don't want to end up like one of these bodies, so, like,
It's the bodies that I didn't hear. But yes, no. That yes, I understand. But I'll wear a cloak in the spirit of compromise.
And take a buddy with you, please.
Okay.
All of the disappearances have been people who were alone.
okay, so
No
buddy
one-
system.
No one has ever
Buddy
seen
system.
someone get taken.
Okay, we're gonna buddy system this then. No one
We're
goes
gonna
alone.
buddy system this for sure.
So we're good on that front.
Alright, any further
God.
questions before you arrive in the city?
And there's no other, like, pertinent information you have from this case?
Who
Pertinent
found
how?
the body? Is there any
That you could
pattern?
maybe... yeah.
I-
Well, we...
either... Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go on.
Was there any particular pattern in terms of where you found the bodies and who found them?
Generally, the bodies are... There doesn't seem to be a pattern. Usually they're not, like, it didn't appear in, like, the town square. Nobody sees
So-
them appear. People discover them after the fact.
So, sort of like, say, Black Dahlia. You just find them somewhere that's not necessarily public,
Yeah.
but not necessarily hidden either. Got it.
Mhm.
This is the most fun I've had in a little bit now because I like serial killer cases.
And you have no hints as to who the killer could be, or, like, maybe somebody who could be the killer?
Sorry, can you
Or
run that one
involved.
back by me again? I
Sorry.
was trying to read words and I couldn't process both.
That's
You're
fair.
valid.
You have, like, no clues as to who could be involved in some way. Maybe not the killer, but maybe someone who was somewhere at the right time, anything like that.
They have
Group of people who have been acting strangely.
they have
yeah,
no
anything.
idea.
Okay.
Great. Okay.
Were there any recent political or social upheavals in the area, or any potent gossip? He thinks about this one for a little bit, and he goes, not that I can remember. Nothing too, I don't know, volatile.
How about anything just before the murders started?
Have there been any particular outlying newcomers?
No, that's the thing. There's not.
So
It just
someone-
started happening.
Actually, you mentioned that everyone who has died has had nothing to do with the web mother or
No.
the hunter. The hunter, sorry.
They haven't taken any god servants, probably because the Phantom is a little bit smarter than to mess with the god's servants, but
The Phantom? Is that
that's
you're
what they're...
calling them?
Yes, the Phantom of Hreeshie, that's what people call them.
Ooh.
Fair enough.
Do
Could
you...
it-
Sorry, go on.
Do you have any record of anyone in the city who was doing unwell mentally, metaphysically, in some way or capacity?
I mean, yes, we can probably get that if it's absolutely necessary. Yeah, plenty of people.
Well, if someone is... God, yeah, I was hoping someone would say something Phantom of the Opera related.
God.
If it is perhaps someone who has had maybe a psychotic break or a mental breakdown, it could be possible, but you would have to look into it.
Generally, we don't have problems with that sort of thing, due to the free health clinics and all. We did check and see if we had an unregistered lycanthrope, but I don't think we do.
Fair.
Do you know of any groups, maybe in the past, that have maybe taken their love of the hunter too far and done things like this?
It was considered. It was considered that maybe this was some kind of, specifically devoted, sort of zealous group or individual, but why, and I feel like we would have known about them.
Well, that depends if it is one person and not multiple.
And we can't be sure about that.
Exactly. Because if it is one person who is going a little bit too far and one person who is covering up, then you know what are you going to do.
I suppose it's possible. I mean, I'll see if we've run, through a registry of the hunter's servants to see if any of them seem suspicious, but I think we might have already, and if we did, we didn't turn up anything worth my notice.
Fair. I do believe that it might be multiple if it is happening so seamlessly. If no one is seeing them disappear, no one is seeing them appear.
Aye.
That seems as though it could be difficult for one individual to pull off. Especially if they're behind such a ferocious attack. They might not be in the frame of mind to pull off the rest of it.
Aye, I know. And that's what... We just don't know. We just don't know what's going on or why. Were there any factors that linked the victims? Just that they were all people who were physically in very good shape. Haven't taken hardly any mages. Mostly
did they go anywhere
warriors.
to train? Did they all like a gym that they went to?
No, not all the same one. We did look at that. We did try to see if maybe someone was killing their customers for revenge upon the business or something. But no, they're from various places. Half of them don't bother with gyms. They're just soldiers or guards. Mostly warriors. Any special traits or powers? No. There's not.
Okay. we might have to scour the city ourselves then.
By all means,
Have you-
please do.
I'm assuming you have been employing mages to
Yes.
scour. Okay.
Yes, obviously.
I would hope so. I just wanted to ask.
You said warriors, but do you mean people like our friend Timp over here? Maybe that are monks? Is it like a mix of monks and maybe more shady people who are just fast? I'm trying to figure out how to ask if it's a class thing, but I don't know how to ask that in
They're
character.
Literally classist.
Oh my god.
Literally a classist.
That would be so
Literally.
fucking
Oh my God.
funny.
The phantom of the classes.
That would be so funny, and now I have regret. But no,
Cleric.
it's people with various skill sets.
Okay.
There are like temple guardians. There are martial arts folks. There are one of them was a person who stole stuff sometimes.
Rip.
I won't be stealing
Okay.
anything now.
It's just a bunch of
Okay.
monks being killed by
Um,
one very pissed off cleric.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were they all religious? Not particularly. I mean, everyone down here. I mean, we know about our gods down here. I mean, you can't not. But
It
they're
would be kind of
particular.
awkward if you're like, I don't worship any gods. The god is like 20 feet away going, really?
Yeah,
Like, dude, I'm right here. Damn.
it's a little bit hard to deny the presence of the hunter when it flies overhead. Seeing as it's the size of a building.
What does the hunter look like?
It looks like Mares.
Mice?
No, Mare.
That.
My bond? Yeah. It looks like him, but a
Oh.
lot larger. And it's got a mask for a face.
I was trying to think of like flying mice.
Nope, not that,
That would
literally
make
at all.
sense.
You mean
Okay, okay.
bats?
You right.
Can you tell us more about bonds? Aye, sure. Well, basically it's, down here, each of the Underdark gods has their own servants, and when we came to the Underdark, the Drow, us, we had to kind of find ways to communicate with the gods, so we bonded with the servants in different ways. At the Webmother's domain, they created Driders, you know, sort of hybrids of the both. And they're the halfway servants between the Webmother herself and her servants and us, the Drow. Here, we didn't do that. We instead sort of created a bondmate system. Some of us can be bound to the various servants of the hunter. And Mares is
God,
mine.
Aragon.
What?
No, that's out of character. Aragon.
But less cheesy.
Yeah, but less written by a 16-year-old.
God.
It just makes me a bit more able to communicate with the god, because, you know, otherwise you can't. Or he'll break your brain.
Fair enough.
This
I win
is-
dragons, you win dinosaurs.
This is probably the most normal, you know, god-servant contract that exists in the Underdark, let me tell you that.
Can I ask what are the others? Or
I...
really odd ones?
Well... And I'm gonna go out of his accent for this, because I don't want to talk about this in his accent, because it annoys me. Let me go a few pages back to where I have this written down. Well... which any particular deity you want to ask about?
Slime.
The
Oh,
slime
no.
god. Okay. Yeah, the glistening spirals, like direct servants, are sort of big. They're big cone snails.
Love it.
Aw.
Great.
You know, and are
How's
as
that
deadly
one?
as that could be. The servants of them will immerse themselves in slime for a good period of time until they are capable of communing through it, and eventually, once they have served the god long enough, they will sort of cocoon up in slime
They
and
become.
dissolve, and then they will be a snail, but their shell is made of bone.
Oh my god, I love it.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they lose all the fleshy bits, and then the fleshy bits reassemble inside the bone shell.
That's-
so cool.
Oh my god. I was afraid it was going to be like an anglerfish kind of deal, where
Ooh.
where you're just sort of attached.
Nah.
Or you're like floating around in the slime, because that would be fucking upsetting, let me tell you what. This is cool.
Lost in the sauce.
I mean, you do that
Lost
before
in
you
the
hit the bone
sauce.
snail
Yeah, but you're not
stage.
stuck there permanently, is the point.
That's true.
Out of
The
You know-
bone cone snail?
Yeah.
You're just like in there, imbibing the slime.
Yeah. Vibing with the
love it.
slime.
Vibing in
It's
the
the
sauce.
special sauce.
The special sauce.
You are the special sauce for a short period of time if you do that.
I'm
I'd
guessing-
rather not be the special sauce, but thanks.
I would rather not.
Thanks, Obama.
Who was asking?
I'm guessing the what never was Silvern God doesn't have any servants because
It's dead.
situation.
I still think it's so interesting that god is dead.
It doesn't have any servants because it's not alive.
It is dead. God remains dead. Sorry, I'm going Nietzsche on you again.
For Hunger of Thousands, you know Ko the Face Stealer?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that. But there's like a lot of them.
And I presume they don't actually steal faces.
No, they don't steal faces.
What about the molds that we passed through?
That one is interesting.
Is that
Um,
like the Cordyceps monster in Last of Us?
Not exactly. They don't have the eventuality doesn't have like a creature that you kind of merge with. Instead, it just has itself. If you
Oh.
inoculate yourself with its spores, you can commune with it, but they will eventually kill you.
Wonderful.
So the Spore
I can
Priests.
see where the name comes from.
The Spore Priests are a unique sect of people, and it takes some real guts to be one.
And
Eventually,
not a lot of planning for retirement.
nope, because when you are through being a Spore Priest, basically what you end up doing is you pass through the progressively thicker layers of spore-tainted air until you get far enough that you can just sit down and die, and then you fully join eventuality. And it uses your body as fuel.
Marvelous. Mm.
That's fun.
Like, that is objectively the worst retirement I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, don't be a Spore Priest if you want to be anything else ever.
Is it bad my brain went, it's better retirement plan than Amazon offers.
True.
Yeah, because at least you get
You're
to...
not wrong.
At least you get something.
You get to die in peace and dignity as opposed to
Yeah.
It's a
on the
choice.
floor of a warehouse soaking in your own piss. So
The floor of spore.
Yes. So, there's some serpent people for the blind serpent. Not Yuan-Ti. They have no eyes, but they're very friendly, generally.
Ooh.
Huh.
What about the false stars?
Well, their servants are obviously slightly smaller giant glowworms.
You cut out.
Their servants are
Oh my-
slightly smaller giant glowworms,
I love it.
and their hybrid versions are... Well, I've got a lot of notes on them here. Oh, yes. Their hybrid versions look very similar to Drow, but they do have lots of very nice bioluminescence.
I love that.
And hiding inside their faces are mandible sets.
Baller.
They also
Nice.
do have the ability to secrete silk, so that they can, kind of climb around on the roofs and whatnot.
Baller.
I assume the knife fish has knife fish.
It's like eel, leviathan, merfolk,
Nice.
kinda,
good
and
time.
and big fish.
Big fish.
Big fish. Not the
Big
company.
fish.
Big
We're
fish.
not
Big
endorsing the
fish.
company.
Did I miss anybody?
You missed Big Fish.
I don't
The
think I
Underdark
did.
is wild, is what it is, and I love it.
The Underdark is amazing. And I'm very proud of it.
You should be.
That's
It's a
valid.
beautiful location.
So I will be right back.
Is there anything else you'd like to ask Lucien before you arrive in Hreeshie?
Nothing I can think of. Other than like, did anybody who found the bodies ever end up a victim?
Could you repeat the second half of that?
Did anybody who found any of the bodies end up a victim?
Not particularly. Not notably, anyway.
Okay. And there wasn't any pattern individuals who found them.
No, it wasn't like, oh, you discovered it, so you die next. It wasn't anything like that. It's completely random who finds them. Psychological distress among the victims? There's no way to tell.
I imagine something along the way was probably very distressing.
I mean, probably. Dying doesn't seem like a chill activity.
Not the best time.
I can
in the
say from
world.
experience, it's not.
Any suggestions from details about their lives? What do you mean suggestions? Also it's Lucienne with an A.
Ooh, fancy.
There you go.
Oh, like, were they distressed before they got picked off?
Oh, like, were they having problems?
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of them were, because people tend to have problems, but it doesn't seem like worrying about a specific thing or having a specific problem was a precursor to being taken.
The only thing that is being buff.
Yeah. Where did they live? Various places scattered around the city. Yep, randomly distributed again. They tried charting it to see if there was any sort of correlation, like, is it a pattern secretly? It's not.
What did they look into or at?
In regards to?
Looking for a pattern.
They tried to see if they overlaid any important areas, if you connected the dots effectively, did it draw a shape? Was it trying to do some sort of ritual circle? No. They did try to see if it was all, like, are they all on a road that this person uses? Doesn't appear to be so.
No connection with occupation, recreation, economic background.
Nope. I mean, they haven't taken anybody particularly rich, but as for recreation, they've all been pretty strong, healthy people. They haven't taken anybody particularly rich or particularly poor, which Lucien tells you is probably just because those people don't tend to be very buff.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Were some of them hermits? A few people knew them. Some of them were very little known amongst the populace, and some of them were people who a lot of people knew. Did they all work out? Nope. They checked for that. It's not like a competitor thing. Some of them didn't even go to a gym. They just happened to be like that for their jobs or what have you. Construction worker, temple guard, builder, janitor, entertainer.
Buff janitor.
I'm interested. I mean, what?
Falcon,
Farmer.
I want you to know that I love this. As a personal fan of murder mysteries.
Glad to hear it.
Is there anything else unique about the deceased other than physical wounds?
No?
Markings, carvings.
Like any sort of, like, I did this marks? Nope. That, and of course they had no magic on them because the areas and them were magically cleansed. By something.
You said that they all had similar injuries.
all of them appear to have been damaged by the same sort of thing. Like, it's not like this person had a sword used on them. This person was eaten by a spider. It's like all of them have the same sort of style of wounds. I mean, there's variation, but similar ferocity, yes.
Not enough to point to anything in particular.
Yeah. Though they have considered that the variation means they were killed by different things.
Is there... So, this is more of a... Is there, like, a badge or something you can give us to make it easier for us to, like, traverse the city?
You
And
know...
not get called out?
Sure, yeah, I'll have you issued some temporary access passes.
Nice.
Evidence of trophy taking? Yes-ish. Maybe.
But how can you tell?
How can you tell? 2, all they know is that not all of the body has been recovered, usually. Some of it's gone.
Yeah.
Maybe it got, I don't know, destroyed, eaten, I don't know. They just know it's not there.
They just know it's not there, and
There's
that
no,
upsets
like,
them deeply.
specific body part that's missing from all of them or something.
No, nothing universal. As best as they can tell.
I would check. Somewhere in the back of Mira's mind, she remembers some particularly outlandish story from her grandmother about a horrid pirate captain who took ears as souvenirs. They were souvenirs. And
Oh my god.
Souvenirs.
somewhere around that
That's
point in the story, Mira's mom picked her up and said, "No more story time from Nana."
Jesus Christ.
Love it.
So, unless you have further, before getting off the train questions, we'll go ahead and send you into Hreeshie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think of anything else.
Check out the most recent crime scene. Hold on, I'm dropping frames. Hey chat, how is the buffering doing on the stream? Because I'm occasionally getting a little red box in my OBS telling me that I've dropped 2.6% of my frames. Because the internet connection here is bad.
Yeah. Picture like the "why can't I hold all these blinds" thing, but it's "why can't I hold all these frames?"
I wish I could, apparently. Oh, you have it down to 360p to keep it going. Okay. Because otherwise it lags. Cool.
It's been fine so far for me.
Huh,
But,
okay.
Eh?
Well, it's probably not that much of an issue then.
Oh, there goes the buffering.
Oh dear. Oh yeah, no, you just became a little robot-y for me, Alpha.
Rip.
Yes. Ah, thank you, my love. Hotspot time, because it...
Technical difficulty.
Check it off.
It's true.
The bingo. Yeah, our Wi-Fi's shit. Oh good, we're down to 2 bars on my Wi-Fi, cool.
Yeah, it's been like 2 or 3
nice.
hours this whole week. It's wretched.
I don't know why
Because
it's
I gotta do my homework on the internet.
sucking so bad.
We really gotta invest in a better internet connection.
We probably do.
Rip.
Okay, hold up, here we go. Hotspot's on, okay. Gotta swap over to the hotspot called Gaze Only. Please hold.
Nice.
Solid speed.